Hey, this is Tim Pierce. I want to thank all of you for all of your wonderful comments on the first video with Ray. I kind of watched it myself a few extra times just as a fan. He's such a great storyteller. This next video is about his years in LA, and the performance you just saw, there's a full version of that at around 10 minutes in. Then there'll be another video where he talks about some business advice and his parents, and that one will be really great too. Click the link below if you want to check out the online masterclass. We're up to over 100 hours of lessons and content and over 1,000 videos. When did you move to LA? How did that happen?
Okay, so I wanted to come to LA ever since I was 7 or 8 years old. I told my father, Stork, which I believed in. I said, the Stork, are you sure he didn't like slip on his way and, drop me in the wrong spot? I mean, if he held me a little longer, I could have got where the sun is shining. And so I saw the biggest show for me that influenced me was 2 shows, Leave It to Beaver, right? And I said, man, Beaver rode his bike to school and nobody beat him up and took it, And Beaver went to school, he had no coat. And Beaver parked his bike outside the school and it was there when he came back. Now these things don't happen, And then I saw the house that Beaver lived in. I was like, he's got more than one level to the house, and he's got his own bedroom with pennants in the bedroom. I mean, my bedroom wasn't as big as the, little space. I could grab my brother's sheet and pull it off of him, So I thought, and by the way, I didn't know, it wasn't so much the show Beaver, it's just I didn't know that all films were made in California. So I would just ask the question, hey, Mom, where's Beaver at? Hollywood, California. So everybody kept telling me California. Yeah. So as a young man, just say, well, I like everything I see in California. I want to go there. I just want to go there. Let's not make this complex or anything. I want to go there. Then the biggest change in my life came is when the Beverly Hillbillies came out. And I went, whoa, I like that too. And I said, where they at? And somebody said Beverly Hills. And I was like, complex for a long time. I was like, man, I'm miserable. All my life, which was only 8, 9 years, I wanted to move to Hollywood. Now I'm not so sure. I might want to go to Beverly Hills. And I was like, I don't know which one to go to. And then I had a relative that said, hey, they're right there together. I said, they are? He says, yeah. He's like, Hollywood's here, Beverly Hills is connected to us, like Detroit going to Dearborn. I went, oh, we good. So I was already into my first year of college, and I hadn't turned 18 yet. It was just before I turned 18. Phone rings, right? Call from Stevie Wonder. I'm thinking it's got to be a joke because Music from My Mind was my favorite album of all time. It just had new sounds on it, and that's all I wanted in my car was to hear those speakers play that moog bass and synthesizers and stuff I never dreamed about before. I said, man, this is the newest, freshest sounding thing I've ever heard in my entire life, And so I'm playing this album over and over and over again. Then he calls on the phone, so I hang up on him like 3 or 4 times, And I'm just a young kid. I don't know, it's Stevie Wonder, So he says, we keep getting disconnected. After I said maybe some.
Did you think somebody was playing a joke on you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's got to be one of my friends. Come on. Yeah. And then I said some not so nice words the last time I hung up, So he called back. A good thing he was persistent, okay? Yeah. He called back. He says, look, just listen to this. And he played me the rhythm track to Superstition. And I got to tell you, I almost hung up again because the rhythm track to Superstition had marching drums on the front. And I was like, that ain't no Stevie Wonder. Until I heard dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. And I went, oh my God, that's Stevie. So then we start talking, And he told me, I'll never forget, it's almost like a dream come true. He says, the first thing I want you to do is come with me to San Francisco. And we're going to cut a record with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Then I want you to come to L.A., which I heard the L.A. part very clear. Yeah. And I want you to play on my new album called Talking Book. And then he says, then I want us to go on tour with the Rolling Stones. That's going to take 3 or 4 months, And I was like, wow. He's talking about not going back to college. I get to make this up. So I said, look, I got to go talk to my mom and my dad, And I said, give me a few days. This is gonna be a big conversation. He says, I understand. He says, get back to me. So I talked to my dad and we had a powwow. Took a couple of days. I said, Dad, I heard everything you said about the retirement, Ford Motor Company, long-time job. I heard all that. But that's your dream, not my dream. I won't go on tour. I said, I heard everything you said. I got it clear. I'm repeating it back to you. I got a clear understanding of what you're saying. I said, but I don't want to be in an office designing car parts. I just want to drive the car. I don't want to make it, And so he let me go on tour, and that's how I got in the band.
Awesome.
And Stevie Wonder changed my life. There were little guitar parts and things that I had And he'd take me in the studio and show me how to make that into a song and how to flip it around. And he'd actually record it with me. We had duets and me and him singing it to get with me. And we sort of became best friends for a while, you know.
Is that where you decided to be a songwriter? Is that the
Well, yeah, I didn't know if I decided to be a songwriter, but that I was just thrown into it.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I'm hanging with him, and I didn't really know what. Actually, I wrote some songs with Marvin Gaye, but it was more like I came up with great parts, and they just put me on the song. I didn't even know what that meant. You know, Joe Bed had to publish, and I didn't know what any of that meant. It's like, okay, so my name's on the record. Okay, that's great. What does that mean? You know, what does that do? But Stevie was the first one to show me, no, you write the song. That means you came up with this and you came up with the parts and, you know.
I'm sure people heard you play and said, I want that on my song.
Yeah.
That's how I felt sitting here.
But it's better than that. It's better than that. And again, I'm not saying I'm not good or any of that, but sometimes you get lucky along with good.
Right.
Lucky is everybody in California played like beach guitar. Stuff, right?
Yeah.
So they had the MXR compressor on and that kind of thing. And everything I was playing was more rhythmic and really different. Now, here's where you get a little bit lucky. All of the people who taught me, the Dennis Coffeys, the Robert White, the Eddie Willis, they did not move to California. But I did.
Oh, I've had that benefit me too. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I got now an arsenal of whatever it is, whoever I am. I got me. Plus, I got a little bit of Robert White, a little bit of Eddie Willis, and a little bit of Dennis Coffey, and I'm in L.A. by myself having a field day. Now, Wawa's here. He's from Detroit, but he plays a whole different, more effects, and it's just a whole different world.
Yeah.
So people heard that, and it wasn't like, do we use Ray or do we use Dean Parks or do we use Ray or do we use Jay Graydon? It was like, no, we use Jay Graydon, but we got to have Ray too because it's different. So it was like, either me plus Jay or me plus Dean or me plus Lee or me plus, but it's always me plus somebody.
Yeah.
And it just sounded so different. It was just, I came here at a time when everybody was had a different sound.
Yeah.
They had more like that Steely Dan Overdrive sound to it. And I'm playing something totally different. And the producers were all the same. They'd be like, well, that's not the part. And then they'd be like, well, then you hear the guy calling in control. Wait, whoa. Come back in here. Then they listen to it again and go, well, that's not what we wrote, but I like that. What is that? And then they come out and they look at me, what is that you're playing? Yeah. You know, they look at me like, what's with the one line? What's with the thing? What is that? Yeah. What are you playing? With the note going through the chord, and, you know. And parts just sound very simple. Something like, you know, if you just went. They had never heard it before. Right? It's just, that just wasn't, I'm not even saying nobody could play it. Nobody was playing it.
Yeah.
Or nobody had dedicated their life to playing that right. And they would hear that on the record, and the guy would go, well, that's not what we want. We want to do. Then the producer would go, wait just a second. Just hold on. Play it back again. Yeah. And I can hear him in the control room playing it 3-4 times. Yeah. Then he come back out. Can you play that all the way through the thing? Just keep that groove going. In fact, start the song off with that groove, you know. Yeah. So it was just one of those things. It just caught on. That's all I thought when I heard you play today. It's like, I want that thing on my song. Yeah. That's what they wanted, you know. I didn't know anybody when I got here. Well, the great thing about LA, probably Nashville too, is that you can meet one musician and that one musician will recognize and spread you out like branches of a tree. And I'm sure that's what happened to you. We were doing Lamont Dozier album and I met a bunch of musicians from that album, the one album we were doing. And then things spread, you know, and people be like, well, what's that I hear on that record? That's that kid from Detroit, man. He's kind of crazy, but, you know, he can do this. And then they liked it. It caught on really, really fast. Well, there must have been a point where you got too busy to do sessions, though, because you got record deals and you were an artist and you had hits. That's a longer story. Okay. All right. I thought I was going to write songs when I got here, but I started doing all these sessions and other stuff. And it didn't take long, this transformation period I'm talking about, but to me it seemed like 20 years, but it was only a year or so. How long were you in the trenches only doing sessions? A year or two? Well, if you include Detroit, I'm going to say 3 years in Detroit and 5 years here. From 73, 74, 75, 76, 5 years here. That's a good long time. Yeah. Now, I played longer, but I mean, before I got the first big hit record. Right, yeah. The first year I got here, don't forget I had that song on Shaka Khan, too. I saw that this morning. Yeah, this one.
Oh yeah.
And that pretty much exemplifies what I was playing on the sessions, what people like. They like that rhythm, and the other stuff would go, you know. So it became, I'll never forget, I did a bunch of Herbie Hancock records, Stanley Tarantine records. I mean, I did jazz records, Dizzy Gillespie, everything, right? But what they really wanted, I mean, the majority of the time they were like, just play the chord. They just wanted the rhythm. It just felt good to them. They were like, yeah, okay, got all that. We get so-and-so to play that. Just give me that feel. Just play the rhythm.
That's the thing. In your particular case,
Yeah.
it's undeniably strong, and so yeah, I don't doubt it.
There was one funny thing I'll never forget. We did. John Barry was a producer. He did this album on a group called the Persuasions. You know?
Yeah.
And they were just a vocal band. They were trying to cut tracks on it for the first time. Anyway, they scrapped the whole album, stripped everything down, kept the guitar part only, and then made it the theme song of this in concert. Don Kirshner and Dean Parks always teased me about that. The thing that went like. That was the theme song to end concert, but it's really from a Persuasions record.
Okay.
And somebody said, get rid of everything. Get rid of the strings, the horn, the band, the vocals. Yeah. Just keep the guitar and let's start from there. And they started from there. I didn't get any credit for it, you know. Oh, wow. I mean, no writer's credit or anything, but they started with the guitar part and just started all over again, you know. Yeah. So it was an interesting thing, you know. And then there's the other song I got absolutely no credit for. I wrote it at home and put it together. It was this tune called You Make Me Feel Like Dancing, you know. That little line, you know.
Okay, so you played that line in the studio?
Not only played it, I put the whole band together. It was a song I wrote at home.
Okay.
And a little learning education at 19 years old, you know, of what not to do. I trusted some people that maybe I shouldn't have. Yeah. But that song ended up, you know, I mean, Leo was the nicest guy in the world. It's not his fault. He cut 7 of my songs after that, trying to make up for it. You know.
Well, good for him. Oh, that's so great.
No, he's a wonderful guy. It was not him by any means.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. That song won R&B Song of the Year, Grammy of the Year, Song of the Year. Leo never had an R&B song before that or after that. That's it.
Well, everybody must have known what actually happened.
Everybody knew what happened. Everybody with witnesses there, the other musicians there. Everybody told the story. And that's how I got my first deal on Arista. Clive Davis heard of it.
Really?
And then he heard the other song, Jack and Jill, that I had given the same guy.
I was a fan of Jack and Jill. Okay. I loved it.
Well, I gave that, at the same time I had You Make Me Feel Like Dancing, I gave the same guy Jack and Jill too. And then Clive was like, well, he didn't pay you for the first song. We're taking that back. You know, I said, don't even talk to him anymore. I'll talk to him. He says, I'll call him and tell him that song is no longer with him. We're doing that song, you know. And the good news, you know, there's always some bad news, but again, things in mysterious ways. I took the high road and just went on, took the next deal and kept going up, you know. Yeah. And I always tell people, you know, if you're driving 110 miles an hour, you really shouldn't be looking in the rearview mirror. If you're only going 20 miles an hour, well, you better look in the rearview mirror and see what's behind you, you know. But I was trying to move really, really fast. And so Clive gave me that opportunity and just let me have everything pretty much, you know.
That's great. Did you tour with radio?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Every year.
Every year. Great.
At one time, I loved touring. I was out there playing and, you know, getting in trouble like everybody else, having a good time. You know, but after a while, that gets a little old.
It does, yeah.
You know, I look at some of the acts where they just keep touring even now, and I'm like, man, I don't know how they go do 120 cities, you know.
It's very fatiguing.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no real reason to have a wife and kids, is there?
It makes it very hard.
Exactly. Why would you have a home if you're going to be there 20 days a year?
Yeah, makes it hard.
So a lot of that stuff really didn't appeal to me at a certain age, you know.
Yeah.
So as things ended up, I'm a pretty happy guy.